Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar on DigiFed, which is a new innovation action supported by the Horizon 2020 program to drive the digital revolution across European SMEs. So my name is Alice. I am an innovation business developer at BlueMorpho. BlueMorpho is a member of the consortium in this project, where we are going to be an innovation management partner. I am very pleased to welcome you to the second webinar of our 3-webinar series, where we will talk about our technical partners offer. So we will start this webinar by reviewing quickly the description of the project and the application process that our coordination team explained in details in our previous webinar. So if you didn't get the chance to attend, the video and the slides are available on the DigiFed website in the webinar section. In the second part of our webinar, we will first welcome 4 partners of the CEA who will tell you all about the technologies that will be made available for you. Then we will welcome Antonio Lionetto from ST Microelectronics in Italy, and lastly, Catherine Moser and Omar Velida from AVL in Austria. Unfortunately, today we were also supposed to welcome Andres Pop from the University of Budapest, but due to the current situation with the COVID-19, he had to assist to a crisis meeting and will therefore not be able to join, but he will join our next webinar on the 24th of March. So before we start, I would like to remind you that this webinar is animated today by BlueMorpho, and that the slides and recording of this webinar will be made available for you on the DigiFed website. Also, as you can see on the image, there's a question box in the webinar toolbox on the side of your screen. So please feel free to enter all your questions as we are going through with this webinar, and we will address them to our speakers during our Q&A session at the end of the webinar. Also, this webinar is the second of our webinar series on DigiFed, and there will be one more to describe the technical offer of the project next week at 1 p.m. So if you haven't already, please follow the link to register. I really recommend you that to register to really be able to grasp the full idea of the project. So as I said, the slides will be made available for you at the end of the webinar, so you can get the link. So before we start with a quick reminder of the project, we would like to know a bit more about the audience. So this is why you will now see popping up on your screen a question. So what type of organization are you part of? So do you work for a large company, a mid-cap, an SME, a startup, or an association, cluster, or RTO? I'll give you a few seconds to answer this question. All right, so I will close this poll in 3, 2, 1. All right, thank you very much for your answers. So I will now start with a quick reminder on the project. So what is DigiFed then?
DigiFed is a European-funded innovation action on the Horizon 2020 program, and it's dedicated to drive innovation across all European SMEs via the large-scale adoption of cyber-physical systems. It gathers 12 partners from 9 European countries, and it will last for 3 years and will make 3.9 million euros available as a direct support to SMEs. So what is the DigiFed offer? It's to have AE projects that will go through a selection process to be able to get 55,000 euros to carry out digital products. DigiFed will bring technical expertise by CPS major experts and innovation management expertise. So there will be 2 types of AE. The first one is a single application experiment where one company partners partners up with the technical partners from the DigiFed partners. So the company has the idea of an innovation and a clear market vision, but still needs technical support. The company can get up to 55,000 euros. Then we'll have the twin AE, so two companies partner up to apply on this kind of project. Company one has an idea of an innovation and a clear market vision, but still needs technical support that is provided by the company number two. They can get 2 times 50,000 kilo euros, so 110,000 euros. So 40 project will be funded throughout the 3 years duration of the project. There will be 3 calls, and the very first one starts today. So on the 17th of March, the OC opens, the open call opens, and closes 12 weeks later on the 9th of June at 5 p.m. So what will happen next? The open course that starts today will close on the 9th of June at 5 p.m. After that, there will be an evaluation committee in July before the selection is confirmed by the European Commission. All companies will receive the notification of the selection on the 4th and 5th of August in order to be able to sign the agreement contract and launch the project in September. So how to apply on this project? All the information will be made available on the website at the address that you can see on the presentation. And that should appear in the chat box at some point as well in the presentation. So again, I remind you that the slides will be made available soon on the website in the webinar section, so you can go through all the slides and the different links whenever you wish. So before the 9th of June, we need to first register on the website, then submit 2 proposals, one written in English, about 10 pages, that will describe the technical aspect of the experiment. The other proposal is more business-oriented and is a video of a recorded pitch of a 5 minutes oral presentation in English. So you will be provided with guidelines to apply on this project through webinars and bootcamps. However, the bootcamps are supposed to be face-to-face meetings, and with the current situation with the virus, it might need to change and we might need to do them online, but we will obviously let you know once we know for sure about it. So now the question is, are you eligible to apply on this project? So first of all, you need to submit your proposal on time. Then you need to make sure that it's a cross-border proposal, because you won't be able to access the funding if you partner up with a company or a research organization from your own country. Then regarding the company profile, you need to be a startup, an SME, or a mid-cap. You need to have the required resources to be able to implement the project. And you also will need to agree to sign the contract that will be drafted and made available for the selected companies before September. And finally, you need to be from a European member country or an EU associated country. The list of eligible countries are available as well on this website. So lastly, before we start with our technical partners presentation, what will be the funding? So it can cover up to 70% of your costs. It will be a maximum of 55,000 euros per company per project, meaning that a company can be on several projects, but will be able to get a maximum of 100,000 euros on this innovation action. Also, there will be a maximum of 100,000 euros in total. So if you've already received funds from another section on the SAE initiative or the I4MS initiative. All right, so I think we've covered pretty much everything for the DigiFed presentation and the presentation of the project. So I will now give the floor maybe back to Alice. Are you back with us?
Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, I will now give the floor to Raphaël Collado from the CEA, because we are lucky enough today to have 4 experts from the CEA who will each present a technology, and Raphaël will go first. So Raphaël, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I don't see the slide anyway. Okay, it's okay. So I'm Raphaël. Hello, I work at CEA Grenoble in a cybersecurity laboratory. our team is in charge to develop secure component and security solution. The brick I'm going to present is about a secure infrastructure for IoT platforms. The main function of this brick is to enforce the isolation of what is usually called in security the trusted world from the untrusted world. By untrusted world, we usually mean software bricks quite complex, and because they are complex, the surface of attacks are usually wide and large. So we consider that the untrusted world potentially hosts vulnerabilities, like for instance Linux. Whereas at the opposite, the trusted world is usually composed of much more smaller bricks of software. So the surface of attacks and interfaces are much more controlled, and hence they are considered trusted. So the solution we develop is based on several principles. The first one is to integrate a secure hardware module. Second one is the integration of a light trusted operating system isolated from the untrusted world, like for instance Linux. We also develop drivers and software bricks to drive the secure world module, hardware module inside the trusted operating system. And we also put in place interfaces between the untrusted world and the trusted world. One example of current integration, for instance, is based on the STM32MP1 processor developed by ST Microelectronics. We have integrated as secure hardware module a TPM, and we have all the software components compliant with the TCG specification inside the secure world. So by this way, we have a complete secure world isolated from an unsecure world like Linux, and we are able to drive several kind of use cases. The field of application are very large. The infrastructure is quite today open and can host very different use cases. So, for instance, you can improve the protection of personal data by protecting key secrets in the secure world. By this way, the key secrets are never exposed to untrusted world. And we can also implement new use cases, new innovative use cases. We are actually starting new things around blockchain. And we are able also to provide different use cases in the trusted world. So I will probably be there at the end for question if you have. I will let the floor to Pierre-Henri to present another brick. Pierre-Henri, I think it's up to you. We can't hear you, I think.
Yes, thank you, Raphaël. So I'm Pierre Thévenant. I'm working as a project manager on the security of industrial IoT in the hardware security laboratory of CEA. As you will see in my presentation, the solution is complementary to Raphael's solution. So my presentation will be very short, so do not hesitate if you have any question after the presentation. The commissioning of security, for example, the cryptographic keys used for the communication in devices, is a very complex operation due, for example, to the number of IoT devices in the network, the diversity of communication interfaces. So we are proposing a solution named Depth IoT, which can be used to effortlessly apply a configuration to a network of IoT devices or industrial IoT. So these solutions include hardware and software building blocks that can be integrated to your home designs. Using a smartphone application and optional hardware extension board to support the majority of currently used communication technologies. You can connect to a device or to a complete IoT network to deploy a configuration or to manage the product life cycle. The security is the foundation of this tool. It can be integrated within public key infrastructures. It enables the generation of cryptography keys and the secure deployment of a configuration. All these features can be applied using secure elements such as a trusted platform module, or we can use hardware and software cryptographic function depending on the controller of your hardware platform. As the monitoring of the network is essential, DeployOT provides some features to obtain a complete lifecycle management with some alerts and logs. The number of applications that can covered by this solution is very large, as you can see. It can be used in smart factories, in smart cities, in some critical system, industrial control system, for example, in healthcare monitoring. It's all for me. So I will let Guillaume Hervé present the security assessment.
Okay, thank you, Pierre-Henri. Hello, everyone. I am Guillaume Hervé. I work at CLETI, and I'm the head of the LETI ITSF, which is a laboratory specialized in security assessment. And the service we would like to propose for DigiFed regards security assessment of prototypes which need to ensure that they have a secure by design approach and to provide some, let's say, some statement, some assessment from a third party for this. What we would propose would be to provide at early stage in the development process a feedback to developers of new prototype devices or new specific hardware or software security functionalities, to provide them some feedback and to allow them to enhance their security features. So what we would be doing then would be first an analysis of the device so as to identify potential vulnerabilities. It would lead us to draw up a test plan and then to perform penetration testing on the device. And it may include attacks on its interfaces. It may include physical tampering to assess that the security box is sound, and also such things as side channel analysis, fault injection, perturbation, whatever, any kind of attack path that our experts may have deemed relevant for the prototype. So what makes this proposal unique, so as to say, is that our facilities at LETI ITSF are state-of-the-art, are really beyond state-of-the-art, because we are accredited by such organizations as ANSSI, which is a French security agency, or some private schemes as EMVECO for banking, for example, to perform evaluations of security up to highest assurance levels, for example, smart cards, whatever. So we have the possibility to perform the security assessment on any new device that may need to ensure that it's secure enough for its market needs. So our applications, obviously this expertise is proposed for innovating designs. That's the reason why we should be here in DigiFed, to assess the security of innovative designs, either hardware embedded software or ICT products prototypes. And the applications involved could be addressing confidentiality, integrity, availability of the service, or privacy, whatever. And the evaluation may also focus not only on ICT product on the wall, but also on a new specific hardware or software security functionality, as soon as it is in a level of development, let's say, advanced enough to for us to provide some significant, some meaningful feedback. But what we aim at is perform this evaluation at for innovating designs in the field of, let's say, TRL 5 to 6, something like that. And that's all from me. I will not be able, unfortunately, to be here to answer any questions, but obviously I'll be able to answer by email through the organizers' emails. That's all for me.
Hello, my name is Marie-Sophie Maslow. I'm in charge of industrial partnerships now for the cybersecurity technologies. Anyway, I will introduce you today to the Sigma Fusion technology because of my past activities. So Sigma Fusion is a software for environment perception. Its objective is to provide you with a digital model of the environment using an heterogeneous set of sensors, distance sensors. It's based on the Bayesian fusion, based on integral arithmetics, which allows us to make it as an embedded software that you can use on just a microcontroller. When I'm talking about an environment perception, it's this kind of occupancy grid that you can see on this picture. So we split the environment around the vehicle, like a car or a drone, in small cells to assess the presence of an obstacle or not. So the advantage is that it's a real-time fusion for a very important quantity of data. And as I already told, it's a lightweight computing solution that can be embedded on just a microcontroller. So as previously quickly said, it can be used either for automotive or for urban mapping, like on this picture again, where we embedded it in a smart cane, or for drones or small robots, mobile robots, like in a street or things like that. My last comment will be on this picture, where you can see that this occupancy grid can either be built in 2D or even 3D. You can maybe recognize a guy, a person on this picture. So that's it for me. Up to you, Alice, I think now.
Yes, thank you very much, Marie-Sophie. Thank you very much to everybody. I will now have a quick question before Antonio presents the ST microelectronics technology. So are you interested in these technologies that CEA presented? You should now see the question popping up on your screen. You can choose as many answers that you want. All right, I'll give you a few more seconds to answer. And I will close this poll in 3, 2, 1. All right. So I will now give the floor to Antonio and let him present his technology. Antonio.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Okay, I'm Antonio Leonetto, and I'm in charge for the activity of funding a project of my group that is System Lab Development Unit, that is a group of the transversal group, corporate group that is involved in activity of system and vision, on the overall system and vision and application for our device. ST is a provider of integrated circuitry on the base of its knowledge and capability on manufacturing on silicon and on SiC. But ST support the growing process of digitalization and provide support for the development of the a large spectrum of application from energy, healthcare, and industry, and so on. In the project DigiFed, ST Italy promote the hardware solution that we provide for the fast prototyping for the integrator of the application, and a reference design that is useful to make easier or to test the performance that is possible to achieve with our device. In this point, we provide this kind of different of hardware and software solution with the aims to help the designer in their helps to evaluate our product, to evaluate the possible solution that is achievable with our device. And there are almost 20 years that we offer a fast and modular prototyping system, the STM32 Open Development Environment, ODE, that permits to embedded to assemble STM32 microcontroller with a broad range of board to reproduce the desired function, communication, sensing, motor control, and so on. This is the aims of ST Italy, that in this project work in synergy with ST France, that is related ST France with STM32 microcontroller and with the STM32 Nucleo, to the expansion board that are stackable on STM32 Nucleo for obtain functionality and to obtain sensing communication that is required from the application. If you have seen this part, the X Nucleo are focused on 5 key functions: sense, connection, power drive, motion and actuation, and translate. And translate. On this kind, it is possible to have a large number of board of that I defined this as to have the digitalization of the physical part. That for this is required to have a sensing, to have a communication, to have actuation, and this. And in synergy, we can provide this kind of a solution that are stackable together to obtain several kind of function. If you need the Bluetooth low energy, you put inside the Bluetooth low energy board. If you need another kind of communication, you put the related board on this. It's very easy to to test your application with this tool, and this is the means that we say this fast prototyping, because you have an idea, you collect the board that is required, power management, and connectivity, sensor, and other. Put inside the appropriate processing board, STM32 Nucleo, and you achieve your application. And from the side of ST, we provide the API required to have an easy interaction between the X Nucleo sensor, time to fly, for example, to the micro. Is a function that you ask, that you have to run in your code. The maturity level of this is related from 3 to 7, because we give the tool to enabling this kind of your application, but it's to your activity to define what you require, what you have to perform. On the other side, we have from our side the possibility to interact with our designer on this, and the expert person that developed the product or developed that or they have the knowledge of the application, or how to use better the device for this kind of for your kind of application. And the range of the application covers smart industry, smart city, smart home, smart thing, smart what you want fundamentally. On the other point, another kind of board that we provide are the STEBAL, the ST evaluation board. The ST evaluation board are the aims to introduce, to have an approach on the product and on the solution that is possible to the product. There aren't at the final solution, because this tool are for the lab, not to, you don't can put a power supply stable in your final application. You can use the inverter of the stable to test the software, your software, or on the top on the right, there are several examples of stable that we are providing, and these are a tracker on LoRa, or different kind of what we can name it a sensor tile sensor with several inertial, humidity, pressure, and other kind of sensor with the sensor fusion that is at the object that can be used for the different kind of application. Not all. And for the in the side of the stable board, we addressing 4 domain: power, LED lighting, motor control, and IoT that is related to MEMS, sensor, and connectivity. On the other side, the next slide. Hello? Okay, sorry. On the other side, another focus that we have, the specific focus that we have is on the condition monitor for the industrial application, but also for any kind application where it's possible to, it could be useful. We develop a solution of hardware solution with wired and wireless capability on the specific for industrial with IO-Link communication that is possible to use for the monitoring, for example, for the motor, and with several kind of sensor, ultrasound, inertial, and thermal and so on, you can have the capability to detect the condition of a fault before that the condition appears. This is an evolution on the kind of the maintenance that is possible to do from the low level of the reactive maintenance when the fault occurs and you have to do something, or the planning of the maintenance on base of the scheduling time, and condition monitoring. You have a vision, you have the monitoring on the equipment, and you saw the condition of this equipment. An evolution on this could be the predictive maintenance, but this is at the more sophisticated and advanced sector. We, as ST Italy, provide this kind of a solution that are the sensing together the physical condition of the machine. And on this, the technology readiness level is also starting from free, because we have enabling with the sensing of and the digitalization of the condition of the motor, of the condition of the equipment, and up to you to evolve this kind of solution in more sophisticated services that is possible to provide. I believe that for us is all, and fundamentally ST Italy work in synergy with ST France, because in the case of ODE for STM32 is clear. We have the synergy, and when you use the sensor or the actuator, you need to have the intelligent part. For us, we refer for intelligent part the microcontroller of ST France. This is all from my side.
All right, thank you very much, Antonio, for your presentation. I have now another question regarding this platform. So you should now see the question popping up on your screen. If you're interested by one or two of the technologies presented by Antonio, please let us know now. I'll give you a few seconds to answer. All right, so I'll give you a few more seconds, and I close this poll in 3, 2, 1. Thank you very much for your answers. I now give the floor to Catherine from AVL, who is going to present the technology. Catherine, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Alice, and a warm welcome to our audience today from my side. My name is Catherine Moser, and I'm responsible for marketing and communications in regards to the integrated and open development platform at AVL. So I will give you a quick overview what it is all about. With the integrated and open development platform, or IODP in short, we are driving process innovation. So what does that mean now? If you consider any modern product development process, there are several things that you will see. For one, there are many different departments involved in such a development process, and they all do use very different tools from different providers. So the tool landscape in a development process is very heterogeneous. In addition, the various processes of the departments are often not connected. And what's more is that the development process is often also very hardware-centric, meaning, for example, that validation is often focusing on the real components. So only later in the development process when all the real components are already developed, validation is done. So those are basically the challenges in the development process. And with the integrated and open development platform, what our customers and what we want to achieve with this is basically to increase the development efficiency and to just make the whole development process more agile. This can be done by, on the one hand, a more balanced way of using real components and enhancing it with simulation models. So you are using the platform to integrate real hardware components with some virtual components, simulation models, for example. And you also connect the different processes that are a part of the development in the various departments. And this allows you to really get a functional view of the end product that is being developed, for example. Basically, it means that you are able to make more reliable and holistic decisions very early in the development process, because you can look at the complete product that you are developing, even if all the hardware components are not yet ready yet. And what's more, in this regard, also from an organizational perspective, it allows you to make the contributions from the various teams more transparent in the context of the entire development process. So not just within one department, but you get the overview of who contributes what and at what time in the whole over or across the entire development process. So when we take a closer look, there are basically 4 key elements of this integrated and open development platform. Those 4 key elements can be used individually or also together or in any combination. The first one is Model Connect, which enables a communication between separate simulation models. So, for example, you have simulation models of different components or systems, and with Model Connect, you can interlink those simulations to get a very functional view of the end product. The second key element is Testbed Connect. So this goes one step further, which is that it connects not just simulation models, but it connects simulation models and test beds, so hardware, into one complete system. Now, it's pretty clear that with all this connection, a lot of data is generated. And this is where Data Connect comes into play. So when you have all these kinds of different data, traceability is a big issue. You want to know which result was which test result was created when and under which conditions, with what kind of calibration, and so on. And to connect all those different sources to again make this data available to the other departments. And then, of course, there is Device Connect, which is a highly secure data transmission pipeline. Actually, we just launched this product earlier this year, and it allows you to globally connect your distributed devices or vehicles, for example. So, and the connection goes both ways, which means basically you can collect data from various devices. That could be a vehicle, for example, a vehicle fleet, buses or e-scooters or whatever. But it could also be measurement devices. You can collect all this data and you can analyze the data in a data center, or you could use this for predictive maintenance. But it also goes the other way around, so that you can also transfer information or updates, for example, over the air, basically, with Device Connect to those cars, vehicles, devices, and so on. Now, what makes this approach so unique? Well, first of all, it's already in the name. It's an integrated and open platform. So when we go to our customers with this, they usually already have some tools in place. And the idea of the platform is that we integrate it into the tool landscape of our customers, and that our platform is open to connect to all those different tools, which can come from AVL, but they can also come from other third-party suppliers. What's more is that the integration of this platform and the collaboration is done by a step-by-step process. So there are very short and quick loops, and you start with a very small, very specific task, and then the integration can grow into something much bigger. Also, I mentioned this before, the one unique feature is that we are focusing on the functional view, so that at any time in your development process, you can check whether you are reaching your original requirements for the final product, basically. And in addition to all this, it's also about, it's not just focusing on technology. We are very much aware that changing things in an organization always means as well that the interaction between teams, between people, and that the processes have to be adapted as well. So that's also one of the things that we consider. Now, when we talk about applications for the integrated and open development platform, it's a very wide area that can be covered with it. For example, when it comes to vehicle design, the platform helps you to design it optimally with using different models, simulations, and just quickly check which variants you want to use for your final product. It can be used in combining virtual and real parts or components for a hybrid powertrain, for example. It also allows you to link various model libraries and to synchronize them across the design process. And it also helps, one application would be to determine the optimum time for updates and maintenance work on the basis of data analysis. So basically everything where you where you can consider front-loading tasks that you are doing currently later in development process can be shifted to earlier stages in the development process with more simulation, and that usually means better, faster, cheaper, and yeah. So that's in a nutshell, that's the integrated and open development platform. And with that, I give back to you, Alice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. So same as for the other technologies that have been presented, and quickly before we go to a Q&A session, there will be a question, and you can say if you're interested in the platform presented by AVL. So you should now see the question popping up on your screen. I will give you a few seconds to answer. All right, I'll give you a few more seconds and I will close this poll in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that's it for the presentations of the technologies, and we will now have the Q&A session. So I will quickly go through the questions now. There was a question that was, is it 10 pages and or a video? It's 10 pages technical and a video of 5 minutes, so it's both of them that you need to submit. We also had a question regarding this SMEs and startups from the UK. We had the questions last week as well, and we still haven't the definite answer regarding this. So as soon as we know what's the conditions from the UK, we will let you know. Then there was a question that seems to be for the CEA. Do you have cooperation with ENISA? So that's ENISA. I would be interested in cooperating with them. So I think it's for you, the CEA. I don't know who might answer this question. Isabelle?
No, maybe Raphael, do you have any, do you know any, if we have collaboration with ENISA, or maybe it's from the CESTI? Raphael, you don't know? Personally, I don't know, because I'm not the one in cybersecurity. And maybe it was a question for the Guillaume Hervé about the security assessment, or is it a question about one of the technology, cybersecurity technology we bring? But please, and I will say to everyone, don't hesitate to contact us, the DigiFed partner, to any deeper question about any technology, and we will be pleased to answer you how to use it.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, as said, Isabelle, we really encourage you to contact directly the CEA, AVL, or ST Microelectronics directly if there is something that you're interested in. You can find all the details, the contact details on the website. Then there was a question for AVL. Could you please clarify the difference between your approach and standard hardware-software model in the loop schemes? Thank you. Catherine?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Yeah, so the question is, could you please clarify the difference between your approach and standard hardware-software model in the loop schemes? Same as said, Isabelle, if this is something you want to think about, you can still contact directly the person who asked the question.
I would ask Omar if you have an answer for that.
I'm available. The idea is basically that you can really connect a really wide range of components, and that you can do it really at the very, very early stages. And as you develop the original model, as you develop the first model, what you can do is slowly, as your components are being developed, you can replace parts of the model with your components. And these can be really from a very, very wide range of different components, so that you can start from really just the concept, and slowly you can build up. At any time during your development stages, you can slowly be building up until you get to the final product.
Okay, well, thank you, Omar. I hope this clarifies the situation. If the person still has a question, you can put more on text. Then I have another question, which is, you only mentioned twin application experiments today. Aren't individual experiments eligible for funding as well? Of course it is. I'm really sorry if you didn't get the chance to hear about the single experiment. This might be due to the sound problem I had today. I'm really sorry again about that. But you will get the slides and presentation, and yes, the individual experiments are also eligible for fundings. Apparently, Isabelle Dor, you have more information about startups and SMEs from the UK.
This is Isabelle Dor. We have some, we are still waiting for the validation from our project officer, which is our representative for the European Commission, because SMEs are eligible to participate, but we are still waiting whether they are eligible to receive cascade funding. As soon as this will be, as soon as we have the answer, then we will put it on our website. So it will be especially in the FAQ session, frequently asked question, you will have the information and it will be highlighted on our website. Yes, as everywhere at the European Commission, everybody is working home, so it takes a little bit longer time just to consult the financial and the legal officers as well. So the question is on the line. As soon as we have it, we put it very openly on the website.
Okay, thank you, Isabelle. Then we have another question. The proposed ideas have to be in one of the technologies presented, or could it be something else as long as it is aligned with these DigiFed challenges? The mining and artificial intelligence concept does not use any of the frameworks that's best presented. So to
Maybe
answer
I
this
can
question,
answer if you
yeah.
Maybe
Isabelle.
I can answer, Isabelle Chartier. So maybe you have noted there are two types of projects. One is what we call single application experiment, and here you need to use it's a solution to use the presented platform. But there are also a twin application experiment, and there we will support two companies coming together. So it can, and you don't need to use a technology from a DigiFed partner, as far as you are in line, of course, as you said, in the DigiFed challenges. In this case, you can come, it can be a consortium of two companies from different countries and complementary. So one can bring the technology, the other one can be an integrator, a system integrator, or it can be your clients or your customer. You have a different solution, but you have to come in this twin application experiment with one partner of your value chain. I hope it answers.
Okay, thank you very much, Isabelle. Okay, I think that's it for the questions. Don't hesitate to send us more questions if you have more in the coming days. As I said, you can find all the contact details on the DigiFed website, and you also should have our contact details. So that's it for today. Don't forget that we have the next webinar on the rest of the technical offer that our other partners will present next week at the same time. And I will obviously send you the link so you can register if you haven't done it already. Thank you very much, everybody. And sorry again about the sound problem, and I hope you could get a lot of information today. Have a very nice day. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, all of you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.